I'm happy to be here with you today. Yes, and there's a new settings today, and this is maybe we have those disconnections or inconvenience, but now it is working. I hope you get the sound coming. Yes, sounds great. So today we shall speak about one verse from Genesis 7:11. Do you see the text? Do you see the text? Now I would like to do something. If this is possible, I'll try to share a screen with you and see how this is going to work. Yes, here it is, screen sharing. Tell me if you can see the text, if you can see the painting. It is a new system now, and I would like to get you, if you can give a feedback, we shall be happy to hear you. If you get only a sound and you don't have a picture, please let us know, because those words can be also spoken in voice. I just wanted to help us to focus on the text, or sometimes to write the Hebrew letters, because the Bible does not speak about historical event or, let's say, weather event, because our discussion today or the topic today is the flood. So this, yes, smaller screen. So, okay. So, yes, you have a sound without the picture so far. Yes. So slowly we shall go and see who gets to see a picture. Yes, Yanis has a picture. Yes, Pixidis, Fernando, Megan, Abigail, you have both. Yes, Yanis, what do you have? Abigail, what do you have? Fernando? Yes, we can enlarge the, yes, 1 second. This is possible, 1 second, because we're seeing the text and doing everything at the same time. But slowly, because you have both, Abigail, that's great. Slowly, we shall see. Yes? So the sages are telling us that the Bible, or the flood, the Bible in general, yes, and specifically the flood, is not a weather event. Yes, sometimes we hear in the, let's say, in the TV or in the radio, or we get a notification by weather application that it's going to be stormy or it's going to be a very hot day. And so, is the sound better? Yes. Microphone is good. So the sages are really writing, and here we have a text here on the right in Hebrew, which I hope to read and translate to you to English, and explaining that the flood is not a weather event nor historical event. The Bible does not describe historical events. It just, through the names, through the numbers, through locations, it brings a higher reality concept. And one of them is the verse that we are seeing here at the moment. I hope that you have, do you see the text? Do you see now it's the, 1 second, I'm trying, this is the greater text mode that we have, unless if it jumps. Yes. In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the second month, on the 17th day of the month, on the same day were all the fountains of the great deep broken up, and the windows of the heaven were open. Just for general reading, what the English does is completely different from the Hebrew, which writes completely different text. I shall read the Hebrew. There's no sound. I shall read the Hebrew and also write the text here and explain what is the meaning of all of those numbers, and through the writing on the board or through speaking, we shall see how the flood is not historical event or weather event. Hebrew. בשנת 600 שנה. In the year 600 year. לחיי נוח. To the life of Noah. בחודש השני. In the second month. ב-17 יום לחודש. In the 17th day to the month. ביום הזה. Today. נבקעו כל מעיינות תהום רבה. All the springs of the deep waters of the abyss were broken or opened. וארובות השמיים נפתחו. And the chimneys of heaven were open. The sages are saying such a beautiful thing. This is not a description of historical event, because astrologers, archaeologists try to prove all the time when did it happen, in which calendaric year did it happen, what is the location, where is the broken ark. And here Malbim says, and the sages are saying the same thing, more or less, that this is not a weather report or historical event. Please pay attention to the text, and I shall write here, one second, I'm moving a bit to the border, to the board itself, and I will write the text Bayom Hazeh, in this day or today, because this is happening now. The flood is what happening is in man's or human's mind and soul. Yes, Bayom Hazeh, Bayom Hazeh, today or in this day, Bayom Hazeh, today or now. If we notice, the Bible describes two kinds of water, springs of the abyss and the chimneys of the heavens. Remember, chimneys of the heavens, this is from above, and the springs of the abyss or of the underground water. And those are again not description of geographical locations of water. This is happening in us all the time. Please pay attention how we write the word water, Maim, water. 3 letters in Hebrew. What happens in the flood that we are seeing the following situation. The first mem with the opening, and I shall write the word maim in this way. Please pay attention to the diagonal way of which the word maim is being written. The upper chimneys were open. This is the upper chimney. Arubot hashamayim. Upper chimney. Chimneys. And here we have the final mem is nivkeu ma'ayanot tehom rabba. This is tehom rabba. The great abyss were open. This is lower, down, waters. Do we understand this kind of symbolism? Because we have two kinds of waters. There is waters from above, and the water, please pay attention, the water from above is marked or symbolized by the letter mem, which has an opening. Do you see the opening of the letter mem here? Do you see the opening? This is the opening of the letter Mem. In the final Mem, there is no opening. Everything is closed, like four walls. This is why there's need a break. The Bible describes a break of something which is closed. Yes, this is not, again, description of, let's say, weather event. Do we understand so far? What does the Bible speak about? I will now go to the chat and see what you write. Yes, Pixidis, still not getting the picture, just blue loading symbol, okay? Yes. So thank you, Zeno, for support. Yes, yes. So, and this is the text that I brought. I just made, in a way, illustration by letters to explain before I'm going to read the text here that the Malbim is writing to negate any thought that the flood was a weather event or historical event. And here's the text. I use here a black background for me it is easier to focus on a dark because I read and I translate. I shall do it, and whenever you don't understand, something is not clear, just stop me and write something in the chat, and I shall, because now I'm just describing what is happening to Zeno as technical support, because I now move to the whiteboard to read the text. So I'm only focusing on reading and translating, so I cannot see your writings. If you want to create, let's say, a text or ask question, please feel free to do so. I will relate to it later. And here we start. This is Yod Aleph, this is verse 11. Bishnat, here in brackets, in the year. And against what many researchers related the flood to the system of stars that stood there in a bad war, which caused a flood of water, he said, he, referring to Moses, who wrote the Bible, Amar. Here, Malbim says that Moses says, שזה היה, that it was in the 600 years to the life of Noah, in the second month, in the 17th of the month. And all of those numbers were calculated by using astronomical or, let's say, astrological signs. He will understand that this time was not describing the flood, meaning this time that Moses described in the Bible is not historical event, not from the side of the general time, which is the year, and not from the side or the perspective of the month, and not from the perspective of the day. And please don't think that the flood was by the nature of air, that he in a way conceived and gave birth to steam or many steams which are bringing the rain, or by the land, or by earthquake, that the deep streams of water were opened in the abyss, though sometimes it might have happened. So there's a lot of text here that describe, according to the words of the Bible, why the Bible is not historical event or weather event that we can locate if we use the right tools, meaning astronomy, astrology, the positions of star, archaeological event, and so, evidence and so. Now let's go to Noah. How old Noah is when the flood is happening? You can write your answer in the chat box. Yes? How old is Noah in the time of the flood? The Bible says. You can use the chat and write an answer. Did we understand so far? Do you get the sound coming? Yes. Yes. So how old? Yes. How old is Noah when the flood is happening? The Bible says here, in what year to the, yes, 600. 600. And please pay attention, 600, I'll write it here. 600. Which letter in the Hebrew alphabet, yes, we can use to write the number 6? This is a question for all of us. Vav. Yes. Yes. Vav. 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 And me'ot, hundreds, we write in Hebrew like this, me'ot. Me'ot. Those are hundreds, but also me'ot from the letter, from the letter. So we have here description in the 600 years, Bishnat 600. Let's read it again and see the text. Here it is. Let's move here and read it. This is all of these are the happenings of inside of all of us. Yes, the Noah is just a symbol to what is happening to us, but all of this is happening to us. בשנת 600 שנה לחיי נוח, בחודש השני, in the second month. Second, which number this is? This is it. Yeah, second is 2. Yes, second is 2. So we have here the number 2. Look how do we read the text. 600 years, and we shall write the vav here diagonal. This is one vav, but we shall write it diagonal. In the second year, we put another vav here. Yes. Sorry, it's in the second month. Again. There was a technical correction here. Bishnat 600 shana, in the year of 600 years, to the life of Noah, in the second month. So the second month is like double vav. This is in a way the separator. This is, what can I call this kind of drawing? Does it remind you of something? Does this remind you of something? Again, we have here vav, 600. In the second month, so we have duality. This is basically the firmament. There is a separator. In the 17th of the month, what is 17th? The value of Tov. Tov is good. In the 600 years to the life of Noah, in the second month, so there is another. Yes, there is a separation. what happens? Then we have, so to speak, a break. And now I use another letter to write or to describe the event of the flood. Are you familiar with this letter? Yes, this is the letter Aleph. Yes, letter Aleph. So what happens, the verse here describes the flood or a new beginning by describing the letter Aleph. The letter Aleph can hold the whole, let's say, description which this verse speaks about. Again, what do we draw here? We draw one diagonal Vav. This is בשנת 600 לחיי נוח. This is in the 600, because we say 600 is 6 from the letter 600. 600 is 600 in English, but in Hebrew, shesh is 6. Me'ot is not just hundreds. Hundreds in English, it is me'ot, from the letter. From the letter. Which letter is 6 from the letter Aleph? The letter Vav. So, this is 600 shana to the life of Noah. In the second month, we have here another separator. Yes. And this is the diagonal. This is the firmament. This is inside of us. When in our internal life, a new era begins. Yes, all this description and writing of the letters. And now I would like to ask you, what is easier for you, to see the letters or just to hear the idea? Because the flood, the meaning of the flood is to start a new era inside of our inner lives. Yes? There's a cut and go. Do we understand this concept before I continue to write the letters and explaining what Moses was writing? Megan, where do the two yods come from? The two yods are in the Aleph. Yes, they are creating the Aleph, the unity. Yes, and the flood is just what, expresses the separation that the Aleph already contains in its structure. Is that clear? Clear that the verse describes the structure of the Aleph with one diagonal Vav. Yes, Megan, you're not sure. Okay. Because now we're moving from the story about Noah to something completely else, to this is symbolical thinking, because this is happening inside of us all the time. A new era begins. Yes, there is like 10 generations from Adam to Noah. There's like, let's say, one segment of how life is going on, like same sequence, and suddenly there's a break, and the former order is gone, and there's a new reality. Yes, Yanis, yods are in the Aleph, but where is it come from? Yes, yes, very good question. Yes. The upper chimneys, yes. Where does it come from, the writing? Yeah, good. So let's move and see all the down waters, yes. The down waters are the lower yod, and the chimneys of the heavens are the upper yod. Do we understand that? Lower water. This is lower water. Lower water. Or we wrote them before as finite mem. Finite mem. And the chimneys of the heavens here as the chimneys, arubot hashamayim, chimneys, arubot hashamayim, as we described them before as regular mem. Do we understand? Because we can express the flood in two ways, either as maim, and this is easy to see because we say water and the yod is a separator. Yes, when the man is inside, the yod is a man, and we have regular mem, this is the upper water, and the final mem is down water. And man is in between or in the middle. This is easy for us to see how we describe the word water. Is it easier to see this when we look at the word water in Hebrew? It is easier to understand that we see in it on the letter Aleph. Okay. Okay. So what is happening? Because this is not a description of nature catastrophe. This is what's happening in man's mind. That suddenly, let's say, the lower water are, and there is description later how the lower water are boiling. And this is not description again when we go to a village and there's like geyser. You know what geysers are? Geyser is like hot springs. Yes? This is not description of hot springs in nature when people go to take pictures for Life magazine or National Geography. What does it mean that the lower water are boiling in man's life? That a person cannot contain any longer the way of his life. He is just having, in our language, a meltdown. But please pay attention, the meltdown is not in the head or so much in the heart, it's the lower water. What is the lower water in the man's body or human's body is the intestines. Yes? What does it mean? That his body, he just cannot hold the stagnation. Nothing is happening. Life is not going anywhere. So his intestine, his all inner, yes, is boiling. Again, this is not description of hot springs in California when they have it. Yes, it's in man's life, in human's life, when he is boiling from the inside. This is one thing. So what happens when a person is boiling, but from the, let's say, in this location of the heart and down, yes, and he is boiling. Everything which is boiling, what is happening? The nature of boiling water is to rise. Yes, he can not longer hold. If people have a great stuckness in their lives, and it happens because they have, it happens. Yes, sometimes we're stuck, and a person is stuck for a while, and he doesn't see any way, and he doesn't maybe have the right I would not say connections with people, but sometimes not connections in terms of finding job, but sometimes connection is a good friend that understand the depths of life. And the person continues in this way, I just to go to work and to do on paper what people do, and they describe it as life or living, go to work, pay bills, pay the mortgage, pay the rent, and this is life, yes, and see once in a week, I know, drink a coffee or see a friend if you have, and this is what life is about, mechanical happening. Some people, if they continue in this way, something happens to them. They're just breaking apart. So, again, all the feelings, all the sentiments are in this area, but a person cannot sustain. We say façon is like cannot sustain appearance to play that everything is right and say yes, thank you, but the person is just boiling from the inside. So this is the lower part, meaning the sentiments from the heart, all what we have, their emotions in the belly, and not longer. This is one thing. Another thing, this is the down water. And another thing, at the same time, the chimneys of the heavens are opening. Yes? His thoughts are just running and running and running and running. And it's just, he is squashed, yes? From one side, the emotions, the boiling emotion, he can no longer sustain this life. So the structure of life is just breaking through him. He thinks that he is sick, but in a way, life or new beginning is breaking through him against his will or without his notion. So the lower water or sentiments are rising, yes? But also his mind, because he was so locked on this kind of life as it is, cannot conceive the new life which are happening in the horizon. So again, the emotions are rising from bottoms as boiling. At the same time, his thoughts or the way he perceives lives is just dropping on him like from chimneys. You know what happens when you clean the chimney? So much dust and comes from there and smoke, and but it comes as in a way here in the shape of water. It's a mattery. It's not just a fog, yes, or coal. It's just a matter. Matter is dissolving in his mind, is falling on him. He cannot think, he cannot see clearly. At the same time, all of these emotions are boiling, and yes, and he is in the middle. So there's a break. This is the flood. This is the flood, and a new era starts in this or in our lives. Yes, Pixidis, I think Jung called this entropy, like its energy stuck, yes, in a closed system. Yes. Life will always find a way to break to a new horizon, even without our consent, because we are not capable of creating or begin new life. This is happening. This is how life is built, and we cannot do anything about it. It will break through us, it will be lived through us. Yes, and we have nothing to say. This is what life, and this is what life do through us. So, the description of the flood, as Moses wrote it, and as Malbim and others, and also Weinreb writes it, it's not a description of a weather event or historical event. This is how life are moving through us. Yes, when we are moving, or when life are moving through us from era to era. Is that clear from element to element? Is that clear, or shall I explain it again? And the interesting thing, nobody ask for consent. Yes, nobody ask for our consent. We don't have to agree to this. This is happening above our heads level and beyond the depths of our emotions. Yes, it is happening, and it is happening through us. Why all of this is happening? To enable us to begin a new life in a different realm that we could not conceive if we still were holding on the same old mode of life as it is familiar to us. Is this clear? Please pay attention to the fact that the Vav is a letter. We don't have the time or yes the board to describe everything. The Vav is usually is the body of man. Yes? From the four letters of the tetragrammaton, yes, the Vav. The Vav describes the body of man, and we have here in the 600 year of Noah. Noah is comfortable. A person lives very comfortable, protected life. And in this body, there's a break. Cannot hold life anymore. It is stuck, and there's a break. Usually, people are afraid from crises, and they tend to mark the crises as meltdown, as breakdown. Now, it doesn't matter which language or tags do we use. This is happening regardless of what we think in life. Because sometimes in a movie we see a person has a breakdown and he goes with a tag like on his shoulder, like he's a black sheep or something awful happened to him. No, this is how life is moving. This is how life is being handled through us. As Pixidis, can someone post a screen? Yes. Yes. So this is happening to us all of the time, whether we approve or disapprove. This is why Moses is describing this in that way in the 600 years to the life of Noah. Noah is a person who is quite comfortable. People sit comfortably in life in their armchairs. They go to work, they return, they have a vacation once a year, and they are quite comfortable. But specifically in this comfortable, stagnated frame of life, something great is happening, and this is a flood. You take a person, not take, we don't do anything by hands, but life is just breaking a person like if he was a biscuit in a tea. Yes, put a biscuit in a tea, see what happens. Yes, Megan, a few weeks ago in my notes, you said that the flood is God comforting himself. Yes, the waters of the flood can extinguish the boiling water to bring peace. Thank you. Yes, 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 yes. Comforting is also, as I read yesterday, to comfort someone is to bring an opposite mindset. When people usually are sad of a loss and they are grieving, when a person comes to comfort them, he manages with his words to turn their thoughts, to turn their thoughts for a positive. And in a way, the flood, yes, this is why God is comforting because, yes, Veinachem, ki asaytnu, he has the comfort. Why God is comforting? Because there is a possibility to bring the flood and to break the pattern. Yes, because when there's stagnation, it's not, let's say, a death sentence, but from the stagnation, new life will break out. Is this clear? Thank you. So now, if you see the whiteboard, just another additional, yes, structure that might help us. And please try to share or say if it is comfortable for you or helpful to see the board or not, because we're trying a new concept. So instead, now I shall write again Maim, but I will write it in a different way and show something else. Yes. This is Mem Yod Mem. Yes. This is water, water. And we can write it here as 4 because Mem is 40. For the sake of simplicity, I will write only 4. Yod is 10, but I will write only 1. Yes. Without the 0. And another Mem is 40, and I will write again 4. Yes. So in this way, we can see if we collect the digit, doesn't matter the order, we have 1, 4. 4 when 1 is Aleph. Yes, the 4 here is Dalet. And here the 40 is Mem, and we have Adam or human. So again, this is another proof to show that this is not a weather event, but this is the way life is moving through us when we are moving between the stations in life, the periods in life, the realms in life. So far, so good and understood? Any questions? Or thoughts? Do you find it easier to see the writing on the whiteboard? Do you find it easier to only to listen to the voice in conversation? How do you find this kind of conversation with the notes? That do you find them helpful? Easier, Yanis. Yanis easier with a whiteboard, yes? Is helpful. Very good. It's helpful. So now let's move into the whiteboard just to show us here a painting about the flood, Impressionist painting. Please see in a way here, try to make it bigger if you can see, that the water, yes, under the boat here is like a new ground. They're not standing, the men in the boat, they're not standing on the ground. They are standing on a boat which is floating over the face of the water. And in the morning prayers in Hebrew, we say the following blessing, Rokea Aretz al Amayim, meaning that God is rocking. Rokea, rocking we say in English, but Rokea is creating the firmament. Baruch Ata Hashem, bless you God. Rokea Aretz al Amayim, that God is creating or beating the earth on the water. And earth is not just a land or a sand, but a will. And you see that there's a new will, which brings a new reality. So there is a flood, there is a break, there is a meltdown. But this is essential to bring new life to this person, to us. Is this clear? The Greek had a beautiful saying, saying Deus ex machina, meaning God comes through the mechanical, through the machine, because we are in a way very intricate machines. We are like just robot, because many of the human function is just happening by itself, mechanically happening. But there is a point, there is a break. They usually use it to describe in Greek tragedy also. There is a revelation of divinity from the matter, from the mechanical life, from the trouble, from the tragedy. And this is what is happening. Life are coming beyond, and we don't have to agree to this. We can argue. We can say, I did not give you consent to destroy my former way of life. Nobody asks us because we are not needed. Why? Because we are not the creators. You see, this is a great freedom. This is what is happening. Questions or thoughts? Things that you wanted to share. Did we understood this picture? Did we understood the relations between water, yes, and the word Adam, upper water, lower water? Now we can understand also why humans are capable of living where water is, because water is man, and when man is water. Can you please repeat or type the Greek saying Deus? Yes, we say Deus ex machina. Yeah, something like that. Yes, yes. And what happens is that the former way of life is just a shell. Yes, like in a tree. The former way of life before the flood. Yes, it's just a dry leaf, and the new life are breaking through like a green leaf at the top. So the shell is just dropping or disappearing, and the most essential part is continuing at the moment and will bring us to the future. This is how life is moving through us. We are not living our life, our own lives, but divinity lives through us. Is it understood? We are just receptors. Yes, yes. Questions and thoughts. Ananda was writing something before. I did not see the text. If you want to say something, if you have the time to write. If there aren't any questions or thoughts, I would like to wish all of us a very beautiful weekend. Shabbat Shalom. And we shall meet here after Shabbat on Monday with a new set. And I hope that the new set is good for all of us to use and to think and to learn. Shalom, shalom. Toda rabba. Thank you so much.